Hello and welcome to another video in my Chemistry Basics series, and today I'm going to be talking about the unit mole. So first I'm going to define mole in words. So moles is the same number of particles as there are atoms in 12 grams of the isotope carbon 12. Now I'll explain this now. So say if you have a mole of pens like this, a biro. A mole of pens is going to have the same. A mole of pens is going to equal the same number of atoms as there are in 12 grams of carbon 12. But what is this number? Well, it's a very, very, very large number, 6.022 times 10 to the 23, also known as Avogadro's constant, after the guy who came up with this figure. So again, if I come back to the pens, if I have a mole of pens, I'm going to have 6.022 times 10 to the 23 pens. If I have a mole of calculators, I'm going to have 6.022 times 10 to the 23 calculators. If I have a mole of sheep, I'm going to have 6.022 times 10 to the 23 sheep. Now, before I discuss what moles are useful, or what they're used for, I need you to sort of learn and know these two formulas. So, when we're talking about solids, a mole equals mass over mR. Now the mass is always in grams, so if you've been given a mass in kilograms, always convert it to grams. And we know there's 1,000 kilograms. Sorry, there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram, so just divide by 1,000. Or times kilograms by 1,000 to get grams. And mR is the molecular mass. So I'll give you an example. The mR of water would be 20, because there's 2 hydrogen atoms and there's 1 oxygen atom. So 2 times 4 for the hydrogen, because 4 is the relative atomic mass, and 1 times 16 for 2 times 2 2 times 2 is for water, and 1 times 16, so that's 16 plus 4 equals 20, the mR of water. And we use that there, so that would go there if it was water. But if we're talking about liquids, which we will be talking about in case, usually water is a liquid, so, but if it was ice, we would use the one like a solid there. So if it's a liquid, mole equals concentration times volume. So the concentration always has the units moles, decimeter minus 3, and volume is always in decimeters. And if you don't know what a decimeter is, 1 decimeter equals 1,000 centimeters cubed. So if we have 2 decimeters, it's going to equal 2,000 centimeters cubed. But if we say if we want 500 centimeters cubed, you divide this by 1,000 and that equals 0.5 decimeters. Just for an example. And the overall units for this, for mole, is just mole, like that. So why is this useful as a unit? Well, if you have a chemical equation and you've been given the mass of one of the reactants and you want to find the mass of the other reactant, well, you can, if you're working with a balanced equation, you can work out the mass of the other reactants by using moles, because it's a constant which you can apply to to liquids and solids. But if you want to know the mass, they might ask you in an exam, what's the mass of 1 mole of sodium? So the mass of 1 mole of sodium, which we know has an atomic number of 11 and a relative atomic mass of 23, the mass of 1 mole is going to be 23 grams per mole. This is the units you need to use. So the mass of any atom is going to be the same in grams as the relative atomic mass. Now in the next video I'm going to talk about relative atomic mass and how it's useful, but hopefully that's a brief overview of what moles are and how they're useful. And in a later video in the next series I'll talk about the actual problems you can solve using moles, but this is I just wanted to give you an introduction to what moles are. And just to bring you back to the definition of moles, so it's the same number of particles or anything really, it doesn't have to be just any number of some things, as there are atoms in 12 grams of carbon-12, and that's 6.022 times 10 to the 23. Thanks for watching this Chemistry Basics video, and I hope it's been useful.